Rugby, he says, clear the tarmac, it's takeoff time.
Media Vintage Sports Network presents Play-by-Play Podcast with Jordan Hughes. Alrighty, welcome in Play-by-Play Rugby with you once again for a big weekend of footy coming away. So much to talk about and plenty to break down. Jordan Hughes with you alongside Tyler Campbell as usual. TC, mate, firstly, big cyclone, recovered. How you doing?
I'm not too bad. Obviously missed a bit of rugby this weekend and have tried to catch up where I can, but no power and reception at home still. So
It's been chopping trees.
What are we, day 5, day 6 of no power and reception, and had a few big trees fall down in the backyard. So had the chainsaw out, bit of a lumberjack vibe. So since any woman's fantasy, I'm now a lumberjack. So just putting it out there.
On the tools, good man. All right, let's get into a bit of footy as well. Eye-catching moment. What caught your eye over the weekend?
I had a bit of a thought about it, but I was thinking just Super Rugby in general at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been so exciting to watch. Teams are beating, there's been upsets. This week in particular, there were so many upsets. We saw Moana, they're upset over they play the Highlanders? Canes, which I thought was a big win, and they did 40 minutes of that game without Artie.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a rely on one person. And if I had to pick a standout in that game, it was that winger again. Was it Kyron?
Tamufalau?
Yes, freak athlete.
Beast.
You've seen that run he made where he's beating people and he's palming a guy while mid-air, and it's got quite a good photo that comes with it. He was a beast. And then we see the Drua once again at home getting over my Chiefs, but not one to be sad about, because it just shows you how good they are at home and how passionate their crowd is and how much they get behind them. And then there was another big upset.
Brumbies, so the Blues.
Brumbies, that's it, yeah. Good to see the Brumbies get it done too.
Yeah, over there. First time in over 10 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it puts a bit of a spark to the Blues that it's not necessarily panic time, but, they're last year's champions and they're not playing like that champion team at the moment. So be interesting to see how the next few weeks play out, because I think a couple of those bottom teams will start to rise up the ladder, but it's good, it's contested, points are being scored, and it's enjoyable to watch.
Facts. On the back of that, for me, it was just the draw in Fiji. The atmosphere over there is just the best I've ever seen in my life. Incredible scenes for the draw. That try they scored, Logan Amasi, I think, was the one that did it. Just freakish.
Was that the spin into a chip kick?
Yeah.
You're always going to get something exciting watching Fiji play.
Yeah, it was unreal. And I did have a sneaky investment on the Drua and Moana, so it was a good weekend on that front as well. Let's go a bit of a round 4 recap on the back of that. Brumbies 21-20 over the Blues. They didn't lead at all throughout the game. And then Lonergan that kick to win. What'd you make of the Brumbies overall? Pretty
solid performance from them. And I will say this, I remember watching the game and there was a point where the Blues had a penalty goal. And I thought it was a little bit of, I don't know if it's arrogance or poor decision making, but you take that 3 and you force the Brumbies to, I think it was 16-20? It makes them have to score a converted try. Yep. And I watched it happening, I was going, there's no way. And then the penalty comes, it might have been 17-20 or whatever it was, 18-20, and they didn't take it. And then they kicked the penalty to win it. And I'm sitting there going, what are you doing? What are you thinking from the Blues? And look, I get it, you want to score points and it makes the game more watchable. But I just thought that was a moment where they really cost themselves because their line-out wasn't working well.
Yep.
They were under pressure. Their scrum started to fall under a lot of pressure. And, of course, a scrum penalty sort of leads to that final moment of the game. And Ryan Lonergan's pretty clutch as a goal kicker. We've seen it in the past.
Yeah, he's underrated, I reckon, for sure. They just stayed in the fight. This was a gritty win. Obviously, Bowden Barrett, the big story, broke his hand. That's not good for the Blues. On the Blues front, is it time for concern for where they're at the moment, or what's their overall take on it?
I don't think it's time for concern. Reason I sort of say that is they've still got a lot of talent. And things just aren't clicking at the moment. They've had, obviously, Bowden Barrett's come back in. They've had a lot of injuries in terms of Zahn Sullivan hasn't played yet. I see Perifetta's back on the bench this week. There's still a lot of talent to come back in. So I think they'll come right. They might not make that top end of the table because they're probably a bit far behind at the moment. It will be a tough ask, but I think they're still going to be in the playoffs. And they're a team I wouldn't want to play in a quarterfinal.
Facts. Well, we mentioned before, Drua 28, Chiefs 24. It just shows how good they can be. Obviously, the Chiefs were without D-Mac. Just a quick little touch on this.
Yeah, I was a bit worried for Fiji. At a point, I was going, please, not again. And, obviously I wanted the Chiefs to win, but they've lost, their first 3 games by less than 5 points in the last moments of the game. So to see them close one out, it's awesome. And they're another team that needs to start getting wins on the board too if they want to be playing finals footy, and they were desperate, and it showed. And for the Chiefs, it might be a bit of a kick up the arse, because I think the first 3 weeks they were so good that they came into that sort of that game. Obviously, they didn't have their full strength side.
Yep.
They rested a few players, but they didn't play as well as they had. So it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back this week against the Blues.
Moana 40, Hurricanes 31. Obviously, as you mentioned, Adi Savia against his former club. Pellegrini at 10. It was absolutely unreal, I thought. Miracle Failangi, he's got a hat-trick. They just turned it on, didn't they?
Yeah, like obviously a very good first half, quite close, but just after halftime, that first 10 minutes, they came out firing. And I would love to know what was said in that halftime chat, because something got them up and they came out and just went, I think it was 3 quick tries.
Yeah, I think so.
In 15 minutes.
It was 29-10 at one stage, but then the Canes came back, which was scary.
Yeah, so it was good to see, and I was sort of in and out of this game because we kept losing reception. And had no power, but we were trying to hotspot off the only phone that had like 2 bars of reception. So it was a good watch, though.
Yep.
I actually really enjoyed the parts of the game I did get to see, and one is starting to look like everything's clicking a bit.
Yep.
They're playing a good structure, but they've still got a bit of that island flair behind them, and it's really good to see.
You know what's cool? North Harbour Stadium too. They've got a home now. That's a good venue, I reckon. So
Are they consistently
I think that's
staying
going to be the spot, yeah.
Okay.
So
I did see there was a chat of them playing at Pukekohe, but I don't know if that was...
maybe it's just like a special game or something, but I think that's going to try to be the home anyway, which is cool. The Waratahs 34, the Western Force 10. The Tars were just dominant. Jorgensen was absolutely electric. The Force didn't get out of first gear at all.
Yeah, I honestly expected a lot more from the Force.
So,
I gave them a bit of raps last week. Interesting to see what they're doing this week, resting players, but it was I guess it was kind of expected if you look at both sides in terms of talent.
Yeah.
I don't think the Tars were clinical by any means. I don't think they were like, how do I put this? If I was to watch that game and say, yeah, they'll do well against the Chiefs or Blues or the top teams, I wouldn't pick that. But I think the first real test is this week against the Reds, which we can touch on later. But yeah, they were good. Jorgensen was electric, but I think they're relying on a bit of individual brilliance at times. I still don't think their attacking shape's moving as crisp as they probably would like.
Lawson Crichton obviously had a shaky night off the boot, but he was handy at 10. Great opportunities.
He was good. Obviously, other than his goal kicking, he probably had a very solid game across the board. But yeah, again, interesting to see how this week goes.
And then you mentioned the Reds. They had a tough day at the office on a Sunday afternoon. 43-19, the Crusaders got it done. Will Jordan, Sever Reese, just absolutely clinical.
Yeah, a little bit gutted I did pick this because I expected a bit more from the Reds. But the Crusaders were just a team coming off a record loss versus the Chiefs and 2 weeks to sort of dwell on it. And they just came out in that first sort of half and it was just dominated the game. Reds looked like they had slithers of hope throughout it, but they just couldn't get going. And
they didn't play very smart rugby, I didn't think, at times.
No, there was a few things I was like, what are you thinking? And yeah, it was a bit of a wake-up call for them, I think.
Yeah.
I did say I didn't think they were as well prepared this year going into the season. And obviously the Europe trip, great experience, great expansion of rugby in a way to sort of globalise the game.
Yeah.
But I just think they missed out on having some practice under those new laws. And we could sort of see that the Crusaders took advantage of that. They were clinical in that first half.
Well, it was a good day to watch footy too. It was a beautiful track. It was looking
Some of the tries, both teams actually scored.
Yep.
The Crusaders they're looking like the Crusaders of old at time.
They are.
You make a mistake, they pounce, and when they've got the ball, they can go 15 plus phases and keep grinding until they come away with points.
Shout out Josh Canham, obviously friend of the program. He's an absolute beast, I thought, on the weekend. He played well.
Yes, he was definitely the Reds' best, I thought. He just round the park, great line break, bumps off I think he bumped off the 10 and kept going, which set up a good try for the Reds. So it was good to see.
Round 4 in the books. On the tipping front, we were both 6 from 10, you and I, my friend. The totals now puts me at 29 from 40, you 25 from 40 is where we're looking. So we're going around.
Rian didn't want to bet this week.
Yeah, he's gone missing. He shows professional footy.
He gets a 0, guys.
Yeah, we'll touch on Rian a bit later on, what he's been up to. Let's go to a bit of Super W, Tyler, quickly. The Waratahs and the Force, 26-21. The Tars win this in the 80th minute. Not sure how much you saw of this, but the Force blew this.
I didn't see any of it. I just heard it was like halftime of the Force Waratahs game.
Yeah.
Like they interviewed one of the Waratahs girls. And
Yeah.
it sounds like they came back from being down quite a bit and scored in the last sort of couple of minutes. Is that correct?
It was literally like 79th minute. So,
So can't comment too much because obviously I think they other game was on at the same time.
Yeah.
The Canes Moana.
Desi Miller scored a gun try. She beat like four players to score. So the Tars, they will play the Reds this weekend. Speaking of the Reds, they had a good win over in Fiji, 22-19 over the Drua. It was 22-0 towards the end there, but the Drua came back. Shalom Sawaso, as we spoke with her, she was unreal.
Freak athlete.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best midfielders in Aussie rugby at the moment. And it's good to see talent like that coming through.
Yeah.
Hopefully they stay in the game. I think NRL is going to come
I think she's already
knocking.
signed to the Broncos.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Which is unfortunate for the game, but that's the reality of what we're in terms of how much money is in Australian rugby.
Yep.
So it sucks to see her go, but like obviously a heck of a talent, and we've seen that, and hopefully we can maybe coerce her to stay for a World Cup.
Yes, we saw the Reds. Obviously, that's a big win for them over in Fiji. Jemma Bemrose, obviously a fellow Bondi, she scored a great try as captain, and actually caught up with Jemma early in the week to talk about that match and looking ahead towards Waratahs this weekend. So let's see what Jemma had to say. Alrighty, joining us now on the potty, Jemma Bemrose, Super W, Queensland Reds captain, chatting about Fiji and first win of the season. Jem, how are we?
Good, Geordie. How are you?
Going good. Firstly, you just come back from Fiji, a big win against the Drua. I guess, how was the whole experience?
It was an amazing experience. It was my first time ever in Fiji, and it was really, really cool to kind of indulge in their culture for an extra couple of days, I guess, and climatise because it was very, very hot. But yeah, it was an awesome experience. They held in it for the full 80, so it was a really good contest, and yeah, it was awesome.
What did you make of the game? Obviously, you guys started so well. You came out firing, and then obviously you showed a bit of wheels too, scoring your first try. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was really cool. That's my first ever Super W try. So to do it away in Fiji with my girls behind me was really, really cool. Yeah, we came out really strong in the first half, and I think we kind of lost our way a bit in the second half. But also I think it was just the environment, the conditions, and also it's very hard to play against Fiji in Fiji. I've never been in an atmosphere like that, and I think the second half, the crowd really, really gave it to us. Yeah, and we lost our way a bit, but we held on till the end and came home with a win. So yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, obviously you spoke about the crowd. How was it? That's probably the wildest crowd you've ever played in front of your career, I'm guessing. How can you describe, I guess, playing in front of the Fijians?
Well, my coach said after the game that he was speaking to one of the people high up in the Drua, and he was saying that they call it the whirlpool. It's like the last 10 minutes of the game, and nothing goes your way, and the crowd's just on you, and you know nobody wants you to win. You know, you're definitely the underdog. So yeah, it's just a different environment. You know, nobody wants anything to go your way, and nothing is going your way. So yeah, the last 10 minutes was definitely reflective of that. But yeah, like I said, we held on. So grateful that we got the win.
Were you on at the field those final moments, or were you off by then?
No, I was on the field. Yeah.
How was that, obviously being a captain too? What were you saying to the girls in those moments?
Oh, just that we had to hold on, and we had to stick together. You know, like we couldn't lose our way and lose our connection in those last 10 minutes because, you know, if one of us wasn't firing, then they were just going to capitalise and keep coming at us. So we just all said to the girls that we've got to keep a cool head and we've got to keep pushing. And although that we were all blowing in the last 10 minutes, we just had to hold out. Yeah, so that was kind of the message.
And on that, obviously, big news for you. Also named captain alongside Avani Wong this year. Pretty cool experience for you. How has that all been for you?
Yeah, it's been really, really good. I think at first it was obviously all very overwhelming, and just kind of trying to find my feet a little bit, I guess, of like where I stood and how I want to lead and you know, my leadership style. So I think I found my footing really, really well, and to have, you know, Avania with me has been really, really reassuring. And also we have so many senior and experienced players who also play a leadership role in our team. So it's been really, really good kind of, you know, rubbing shoulders with them and learning from them, and also just leaning on them when I I feel like I need help with my leadership. So, it's been an awesome experience, and it's definitely helped me grow, just not only as an individual, but, in my rugby as well.
I love it. Obviously, looking ahead this week, big clash at Ballymore. The Waratahs in town, a massive rivalry. How's the feeling in the group heading to this one?
Yeah, good. I think we're really ready to kind of rip in and give it to the Tars. Like there's always been a big rivalry between us and the Waratahs, and I think the general vibe is that we want to have a crack and hopefully get our first win against them. So having a home crowd will be really beneficial. So hopefully everyone gets around it and comes and supports us at Ballymore.
Yeah, how is Ballymore? Have you seen it? Is it underwater still? Is it all right?
I haven't seen it yet. I've got training tonight, so I guess I will see what the conditions are like tonight. But as far as I know, it's all ahead. So we're still playing on Sunday at 2.
How good. Should be a cracker. And finally, obviously this weekend is the Australian Club Championships. Obviously your side, Bond University, taking on Sydney. Unfortunately, you'll miss this one, but you're backing the girls, obviously.
Of course. Yeah, backing my girls. I miss them all heaps, obviously. I'm committed to the Reds right now, and I can't go to trainings, but I know that we've got such a strong unit back at Bond, and we've got so much depth in our squad. So I know that all the girls will get the job done. So fully backing the girls this weekend.
There you go. So big weekend of footy for Jemma Bemrose. Catch Bemrose and the rest of the Queensland Reds in action Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. at Ballymore Stadium. Thank you, Jem, and all the best for the weekend.
Thank you.
Alrighty, great to hear from Bemrose. Of course, they'll play the Waratahs this weekend, Sunday afternoon at Ballymore Stadium, 2:05 kickoff on Stan Sport, or get out there if you can. All right, Tyler, let's go to a bit of Six Nations, my friend. Italy, Ireland and France, 42-27. Hell of a game, this one. Did you see much of this?
My guy's gone.
Your guy? Oh, yeah. Dupont.
Anton Dupont.
Yeah.
No, I didn't actually get to see any of this, and I watched little clips here and there. There's a couple of things from the French that was unreal. Like one of their exits, it got a bit messy. They crossfield kicked in their 22 to the other player.
Yeah.
Then it got a really good exit out of the back end of that, which was a bit of a shock because you don't really see that from teams under pressure. But yeah, the French, man, they're just they're so exciting to watch.
Some of the tries, they were unreal.
Like as soon as you turn the ball over, they have to be the best in the world at turnover attack.
Yeah.
Like the excitement that you see their team get when they get the ball back, whether it's from a kick, whether it's from a team making an error, a pilfer, they just light up, and their attack from it is outstanding. And we saw it again, and I think that's Ireland make a mistake, and French were able to capitalise every time that happened.
It was only 2 points of difference at half time, 8 points to 6. I just saw Sam Prendergast banged a penalty from 50, which was all class. Obviously mentioned Dupont's done his knee. Not sure how long he'll be out for, but now
ACL. So
is it ACL?
9 to 12 months by the sound of it.
I didn't think it was ACL. Have you said it, sure that was?
I'm sure I read somewhere it was ACL. I can confirm.
Either way, it's not good for Dupont because France coming out to take on New Zealand soon in that June series.
He wasn't coming anywhere.
Yeah, facts. They weren't going to bring their big dogs, as they say. So now France are in the box seat to win the Six Nations. All they got to do is beat Scotland this weekend, and the trophy is theirs. So we'll see how that pans out. Wales versus Scotland, Tyler. Scotland 35, Wales 29. The Scots were pretty lucky here in the end. They had a great start early on, but the Welsh came climbing all the way back. What do you make of this one?
Welsh are looking better, but it's also sad to see them go down again.
They could have won that game.
And I know it's not a full-strength Scot side at the moment. They're missing a few players across the board, but yeah, they had a chance, and I thought they were finally going to do it, but Scotland too classy in the end.
Do you have an opinion on that? The disallowed try, the guy jumping over the player?
It's a harsh one because the rule is you're not allowed to jump anymore.
Yeah,
but
it was more of a skip. Like, he didn't really...
And then you see the flip side of it where it happened in Super Rugby on the weekend, and it's one of those laws where refs have to interpret it because there's no real clear thing. And I don't know if I'd disallowed it, especially because you scored it. Like, because what's the difference of jumping over someone? You know, you get the one hands in the corners when someone's coming across the tackle. So there's a lot of grey area in that, and it's interesting because we've obviously seen in the past. I remember the All Blacks lost a test match because someone jumped to catch a pass and they tackled him in the air. Like, there's so many laws around it that are making the game a bit messy. So hopefully we can get some clear sort of direction around that, and the sooner the better.
And then the final game of the weekend, Italy 24, England 47. Italy scored some cracking tries. Capozzo, that 15 for the Italians. He's an absolute weapon.
Beast.
But English, yeah, too classy.
Yeah, England's looking good. Obviously, have struggled a little bit the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And they've looked really good in the Six Nations. Obviously, got a scalp beating France. Is there another round of Six Nations?
Yeah, we'll touch on it.
Yeah, so obviously another week for them, and I think they're still in with a chance to win the comp.
They are. So we'll touch on that now, Tyler. Look at their final round. So the tail of the tape is if France beats Scotland, they win. But if France lose to Scotland and England beats Wales, it's theirs.
So they need to win France. I can't
Yeah,
see England
correct.
losing to Wales this week.
Yeah, well, Scotland could upset France, but it's in France too. But and we'll touch on it now. So, firstly, the first game is Italy against the Irish. $1.04 the Irish, $10 are the Italians, 19.5 the number. Ireland angry here, bounce back in a big way, or
I reckon, yeah, Ireland cover the line. Go out with a bang.
Yep.
Or the flip side of it is that they could maybe give some young players a go
True.
and rest players, but be interesting to see how that looks. But I think if they go in full strength, they'll cover the line easily.
And a lot of these players are playing for Lions spots as well.
That is true. I didn't even
So,
think about that. So
yeah.
it's obviously a big thing as well.
Yes, that's the back of their minds. I agree. The Irish to win in a big way there. Wales and England, $1.22 the English, $4.50 the Welsh, 11.5 is the number.
England and England cover. I would love to see what the Welsh get an upset here.
I reckon they might push them.
I just think a game like this that England knows they need to win.
It's in Wales too, by the way. I'll go England win, Wales cover, personally. I think it's 1-12.
No, I just think England
Fired up.
puts them to the sword. Too much to play for.
Yeah, okay.
I know the Welsh are playing to break the streak, and sometimes that is the worst thing because you put so much pressure on winning that you overplay or you make so many errors because you're just under the pump. And I just think England will be clinical, and that's how they've been throughout the whole of the Six Nations. So I get England to do a job on them here.
Okay. And then finally, obviously, the big one, France, $1.08. Scotland, $8, 18.5 is the number in France against the Scots. Obviously, no Dupont now, so that changes things a little bit.
I'm going to go French 1-12
Okay.
because when Dupont didn't play for the French last year, they really struggled.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to pick Scotland, but I haven't seen the team list. I don't know if Sione Tuipulotu's back. I think he's been a big loss for the Scots. But I'll go for the French 1-12, and I think it's going to be a cracking game. I think that's your main game this week to sort of tune into.
Yeah, it should be an absolute cracker. There we go. I'll go, I can France win, but Scotland colour for sure. Okay, let's keep on the picks and preview trend. Let's go Super Rugby round 5 action. Tyler, it's get started on Friday afternoon. The Highlanders $1.70 against the Hurricanes, $2.10. The Lions 2.5. Under the roof in Dunedin. The Canes have won their last 7 versus the Landers. De Groot comes back in to start for the Landers, and Amua and Lomax into the 23 for the Hurricanes.
I did have the team list up. I've just lost it.
Nice.
Sorry.
But it's pretty much as per program.
Yeah, I think obviously Lomax and Amor are massive inclusions for the Hurricanes. I think they're 2 of the top front rowers in New Zealand, and I think we're going to get a Hurricanes team that's going to be upset after last week. That obviously was not their best performance, and they know it. So, yeah, I'm backing the Hurricanes here. What did you say the line was?
2.5.
2.5? Yeah. Hurricanes obviously cover the line. I'm surprised it's that close, to be honest. But I think the battle up front is where we're going to see a lot of how the game's going to play out. You get De Groot versus his opposites obviously being Xavier Numia. Like, he was outstanding last week in a losing team, and I think he's going to have another big week. But I think when Lomax comes on, I think him and Amor are going to bring so much impact that the Hurricanes run away with it.
Yeah, I agree. I like Hurricanes to win, Hurricanes plus the points. I like Ruben Love for a try as well. He was sharp last week. He'll be around the base of the ruck doing his thing. So look for him to have a big one. Let's go to Canberra now. The Brumbies $1.20. The Fijian drew up $4.40. 12.5 your number. Noah Loacio is back in the 10 jersey. Yusufo Marcy returns at 13. The Brumbies have never lost to the Drua. So, yeah, it should be a good game, but what do you reckon?
I think the Brumbies get up here.
Yeah.
I think Noah's a big inclusion. I know he didn't have probably his best game in that first time over in Fiji. There's a lot of pressure put on him, but I think crowd behind the Brumbies, I think he's been missing for the Brumbies the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like Declan Meredith, hell of a talent. Probably still a little bit young, and sometimes you watch the game, it doesn't seem he's in that 10 role enough.
Yeah.
It feels like Tom Wright's doing a lot of the ball playing, doing a lot of the gameplay stuff. So to get Noah back in there and hopefully get Tom Wright out a bit wider and showing sort of his attacking footy, because I think that's where he's best. when he's on the front foot, I think that's going to favour the Brumbies. And I don't want to say they'll run away with it because Fiji have stuck around every week.
Yep.
But I think Brumbies get it done. What did you say the line was?
12.5. Remember, just at home too. They haven't won a home game yet. They were embarrassed there against the Force a few weeks ago. I reckon they'll be angry, fired up.
Yeah, I'm going to go Brumbies, and Brumbies cover the line.
Yep. I'm going to join you exactly the same here. I reckon Brumbies are too good. I do like Ponapati along a Mussy. He scored 4 tries in 3 games. Look at him for a strike. Like Tom Wright for a couple as well.
Anyone? I reckon Lenny's going over.
Yeah? Okay.
I think Lenny's due.
He is probably due. Good chat. Let's go now across the ditch. The Crusaders taking on the Western Force. $1.05 the Satyrs. The Force, $9. The line's 20.5. Enor's back for the Satyrs, but Nick White, Ben Donaldson, Hamish Stewart, and Tizano all rested for the Force. The Satyrs have won their last 5 at this venue versus the Force. The Force have lost their last 7 in New Zealand.
I will give a shout out to Kobe Milne, someone that I played with over in NZ, played a bit of club rugby there, was on the outer of Waikato, and then come over to Shoot Shield. I think he's been playing for the Rats.
Okay, yep.
Or Ranwick, one of them.
What, one of the Greens?
One of the Greens.
Yeah.
And he's got an opportunity, got to go over there, and now he's on the bench making a Super Rugby debut.
What posse?
He's a 5'8".
Okay, cool.
So he'll be coming off the bench, which I think it's good to see a sort of story like that. But hate to say it, buddy, I think you guys are going to go down by 20 plus.
Could be a tough outing, yeah.
But I just think that's a big ask going up against the Crusaders and taking out 4 Wallabies?
4.
4 Wallabies, yeah.
Literally their best players. From a Western Force point of view, obviously they have the rest players, these guys, the Wallabies. Do you think this is like almost them saying, all right, let's do it here, I'm giving up, I'm not going to win this game anyway? Like, what's the thought process here? What do you think?
I just don't think they're in a position to rest players this year.
Yeah, especially all 4 at once too. They could have split them, I don't know.
Yeah, and like you look at the side of this, Macca Springer is making I think it's his first game for the Crusaders this year. Young talent coming through, and they rest someone, all right? They don't just do it all in one hit.
Yeah.
So if you want to rest someone, that's sweet, but maybe work out how you're going to do it, plan it out. Like resting all 4 at once, I think is a big ask for your team, and it could be a way to see depth in the squad, maybe build depth with a few of these young guys. Obviously, Ray Jean gets to go in the 12 jersey. Yeah, interesting, but I just don't think the Crusaders are the team I'd be doing it against.
Yeah, it seems, I don't know, personally. But I will give a shout out. Kane Kateka is back in the 7 jersey. He's been out for a long time, injury. So good to see him back in the mix as well. I go, Crusaders win, Crusaders cover.
I'll tell you what worries me. The Force scrum.
Yeah,
awfully against the Tars. Crusaders absolutely demolished the Reds on the weekend.
Yeah.
At scrum time. I think there's going to be a lot of scrum penalties, and I expect maybe even a penalty try to the Satyrs here.
We reckon a couple more tries to Severus, Will Jordan as well?
Yeah, I think they both go over this week.
I bet I don't mind. I saw today, first half over, 27.5 is the number in this game. I would definitely take the over in that one. I reckon the Crusaders come out fast and get plenty of points early.
I agree with that. I think the way they've been starting games, especially last week, even the Chiefs, they started pretty well. So yeah, I expect them to get 3 or 4 in that first 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to a grand final rematch. The Chiefs, $1.40. The Blues, $2.90. The line, 7.5. Back in Waikato. Mackenzie's back. Stevenson's back for the Chiefs. Perifetta into the lineup. Harry Plummer remains at 10 in the absence of Bowden Barrett.
I'm giving the nod to the Chiefs here.
Yep.
And this is just because I think the Blues have too many players out looking at this list. Obviously, no Hoskins still. No Bodie. Zavi, the 12. I've never actually seen that 12 before. I think he's a young 20s kid.
Right.
He was a captain of NZ 20s last year.
Okay.
Heck of a talent, but a big game for him to debut in. Yeah. Going up against, obviously, Quinn, who's been outstanding to start the year this year. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs win here and they cover the line, especially at home. Alpha loss.
Yeah, they'll be fired up. A couple of stats for you. Obviously, these guys met in round 1, 25-14. The Chiefs got it done. 7 of 8 Blues games away from Eden Park has been decided by 8 points or less. Lynette Brown has scored 3 tries this season as well. For me, I go Chiefs win, but Blues cover. I like them to push them 1-12 either way. I reckon I'll get within that 7.5 just. For the Blues. All right, let's go to the final game of the round. What an absolute cracker this will be. The Reds and the Waratahs at Suncorp Stadium. $1.50 the Reds, $2.55 the Tars. The line 6.5. Hunter Paisami back in the mix for the Reds. Big changes for the Tars. Teddy Wilson at 9. Crichton remains at 10. And Tristan Riley gets a start. No Darby Lancaster for the Tars.
6-2 split on the bench is interesting. Obviously, they're looking to front up against the Tars.
Yep.
No Isaac Calera on the bench. If Tom Lambert comes back in, I think the Reds get this done.
Yeah.
I think last week was a wake-up call for them. It's going to fire them up. I expect a big game from Fraser McWright and Harry Wilson. I didn't think Harry Wilson was at his best on the weekend. And I think...
Could see Nongo too getting a start, your man.
Yeah, good test for him too. Obviously, he's probably done a lot of time scrumming against Angus Bell through Wallabies camp and stuff like that. So it's a good test for him, and hopefully one he grabs with both arms. So Josh Canham looking like he's locked down that starting spot too. So yeah, I think Reds here. What's the line?
6.5.
Reds favourites?
Yep.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll go the Reds to cover.
Okay.
I'm backing it.
Yeah, so the Reds have won the last 6 of 7 versus Waratahs, including the last 4 at Suncorp Stadium with an average margin of 17 points. As you know, the Tars are unbeaten so far this season, but they've only won 2 of their last 14 away from Allianz. I like the Reds to win here, Reds to cover.
I think Jake Gordon is a big loss.
Big loss. Do you know, is he on the bench?
Teddy Wilson's a good young halfback coming through. No, he's not on the bench either.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there.
So maybe it's a little injury. But I just think his defense and his sort of communication for that Tars team, like you see how he directs the team, is a big loss for them. So I back them to struggle sort of around that. And I think the battle of the forwards is going to be interesting because a lot of Wallabies players sort of floating around there.
Yeah, one up front for sure. Hunter Paisami, he'll be fired up after missing the last few weeks.
Big inclusion. I thought the kid did well, Dre.
Yep.
I thought he had a couple of solid games and probably deserves a spot to still be on the bench with Hunter coming back in. I think Hunter's going to give them a bit more physicality in that midfield. A bit of an older head, a bit of a bigger body at the moment. And so I think that physicality is going to help going up against this Waratahs midfield.
I like it. Any try scorers this one, Tyler? You like? I would expect plenty of points, you'd think. Dry track, hopefully, finally in Brisbane.
Give me a Fraser McWright on a support line.
Yeah, off Harry Wilson, probably.
Probably. That's it. Yeah, just Fraser McWright.
I'm trying to think. Is Timmy Ryan on one wing?
Yeah, Timmy Ryan.
Yeah, okay.
It could be another. Obviously, got good speed.
Yeah, I'll go Timmy Ryan for a try.
Matt Vesler's your other safe bet. The Reds' maul's normally pretty strong.
Yeah, quick shout out too. Filippo Dalguna. He's been strong to start the year, I thought. Obviously had to move in 13. He's been good. All right, there we go. That's Super Rugby round 5 in the books for our picks and preview there, Tyler. A couple other things I want to touch on before we look to wrap it up. There's been a lot of unsigned Wallaby players at the moment. Obviously, there's still 30 or 40, I think, that's still to be re-signed post this year. Fraser McWright just received an offer from Japan, $1 million plus. Is the play for him. How do you think he's going to shape out keeping these players in Australia? Not correct.
This is a hard one. And South Africa's done it well where they've opened their doors to allow players to play overseas.
Yeah.
And they tend to come back because there's obviously a lot of passion in South African rugby. If Aussie does it, I'd be worried those guys would never look to sort of come back and play.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard to turn down that kind of money.
Yeah.
So I think Aussie will lose a few. I think a few will stay and be loyal. I already saw Harry Wilson locked himself in for the next few years. So obviously this Lions is a big thing, and a lot of players I think may go do 1 or 2 years and come back for the World Cup.
Yeah. That's the issue. There's 26 year sort of a dead period before the World Cup in Lions.
And I understand it. Like you can stay here, get paid 300-400K.
So I believe the offer from RA was 650 for Fraser.
All right, or you can double that and go get 1.1, 1.2 mil. And yes, both are a lot of money, but obviously the 1.2 mil is going to set you up a lot longer and sort of help you your post-rugby career if you're doing the right things.
Yep.
So you've only got a short window, and you always told this, like you've got 10 years maybe at your peak to earn as much money as you can and sort of set yourself up for the rest of your life. So loyalty is obviously a big thing, and obviously there's going to be the old head and the one guy sitting on the couch saying be loyal that's not earning that money. But I think if you got a chance to do it, I'd fully understand why players would take it. And
no doubt they'll try to keep Fraser in the mix, obviously, if he goes some sort of deal, I think. Cause when I think of the Wallabies, he's probably not top 3 guys you want.
And this is when you come back to the Suoli'i debate. He's getting the 1.6.
Yeah, okay.
Now you've got guys like Fraser McWright, who's been loyal to Aussie rugby and arguably the best player in Australian rugby at the moment.
Yeah, fair shout.
he's been playing outstanding as a 7 and was one of the best for the Wallabies back end of last year. And now he looks like he might go. So,
yeah, interesting time. We'll see it all pans out. Another thing I've seen, the Australian Sevens leg is going to Queensland. Brisbane or Townsville is the front runners, taking away from Sydney over the next few years in the lead up to Perth. Sorry,
Yeah.
in the lead up to obviously the Olympics in Brisbane. That's the play, which I don't mind. It's good for us. What do you think?
I think sevens in general is dying.
Well, yeah, that's a debate for another day.
Well, no, I don't want to get too much into it, but it'd be great if it come to Brisbane.
Yeah,
But they've got to let sevens go back to what it used to be in terms of it being a massive party. I think that was the whole thing of sevens. Like, yes, the rugby's great to go and watch, but I remember I did Hamilton sevens and it was just a massive party. Like, the crowd was full, and then that started to die off because the fun police comes in and starts, you can't scull, you can't do this. Like, we've seen that before where they kick people out for sculling a drink at a cricket match.
Yeah.
So I think if it's going to come here, that's great, but we need to sort of let it be a tourist attraction. Like, you look at Hong Kong and Dubai, they are massive events. I don't think Aussie's done that yet with an event. I haven't experienced Perth.
Yeah.
I experienced it when I was on the Gold Coast, and first year was good and it died off.
Yep.
So we just need to sort of make it that if it's going to come to Brisbane, make it an event. Make it something that attracts people to come to Brisbane and enjoy it. So, yeah, I like the idea of it moving here. I think they're obviously more population dense on the East Coast.
I think it would go good in Brisbane, personally.
Yeah. Townsville might be a stretch.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that.
Personally, I would not fly up to Townsville to watch a sevens
There's nothing else
tournament.
doing there besides that. Yeah, interesting stuff. So, also, I want to get your take on this. The national team's match payments in Australia. I want you to sort of guess what they're sort of sitting at. I saw this number. So, our big programs in Australia, Socceroos, the Wallabies, men's cricket, and the Kangaroos. Who do you think has the highest match payment?
Sorry, say that again.
Men's cricket, Wallabies, Socceroos, Kangaroos, rugby league.
I would probably ride with Socceroos as the top.
Really? Okay. You'd be incorrect. Men's cricket.
Men's cricket?
Give
Are
me-
they 1 and 2?
No. Give me a number for the cricket. What do you reckon it is? Matches. This is a test match, obviously.
Test match?
Yeah.
5 days work? I'm going to say 50k.
19.
19? We're not even that high.
It's matches, yeah.
I reckon India cricket team's on 50k.
Yeah, probably over there. Which I thought that's good money, 20 grand. Thank you for them. That's just matches, to not salary on top.
Isn't Wallabies about 10 grand?
12.
12? Yeah.
12,000, which is pretty good. Socceroos, have a guess.
I'm going to say 15.
The 8,000.
8? They're the lowest.
Socceroos. Well, that's the debate. Have a guess what the Kangaroos are.
Don't tell me they're the lowest.
They're the
5
lowest.
Yeah, but they get bigger contracts throughout the year.
Yeah. $3,000 for the matches to represent your national side for Australia.
Yeah, but then it's all, 50 grand to do Origin.
So that's the debate. 30 grand for Origin.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the bigger market. But I thought that was very interesting about that.
Well, if you think of it, like, I'm thinking of a bigger picture, International Rugby League
It's a farce,
is a joke.
personally, yeah.
Like,
So-
the pinnacle of rugby league is NRL, it's State of Origin 1, NRL, and then Test match footy at the end. Like,
Correct.
and that's a problem obviously league's going to have if they want to globalise the game. And obviously they're trying to do that with Vegas, but I just don't think they're doing it the right way. Like, they got to get Test footy up and running to sort of encourage it. Like, have a proper World Cup. I know they have a World Cup.
But they don't have enough, there's not enough countries playing it to be competitive. That's the issue.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
we're focusing too much on State of Origin rather than Test match footy.
Yeah. But I do think it should be probably a bit higher than 3, I would have thought. I don't know. Seems very
Well,
low.
it depends. Obviously, the other thing that comes with it is how much money you're making.
Yeah, true.
Like, revenue. Is it a percentage of the money that's made from a Kangaroos? I didn't even watch the Kangaroos Kiwis last year.
Yeah, me neither. I thought, what do you think of the Wallabies? 12,000. Happy with that?
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I think so. Well, the comparison though, you obviously look at Origin, 30 grand. Is that the same tier?
No,
You think Origin's still better than the Wallabies Test match?
for Australians.
Yeah, okay.
Like, for Aussie in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, who's making more money? State of Origin's making more money than a Bledisloe, I'd assume.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's where I'm comparing. I'm not comparing to Test match footy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, Test match footy is obviously a lot bigger than Origin, but Wallabies Tests,
Yeah.
I think's what we need to compare it to there. That would be my thought process around it.
Yeah, there we go. I thought I'd throw that at you. Also, I got here NFL trades. It's been absolutely nuts.
Because I have no power and reception,
Yeah.
I drive up to my little church at the top of the hill to get some reception, and it's like, Bosa signed with the Bills today. Nick Bosa?
Really, I didn't know that one.
Joey Bosa. Whichever one left the Chargers, Joey.
Yeah.
He's just signed with the Bills. And then I see Metcalf's gone to Pittsburgh. Then I see they're in the lead to get Micah Parsons. And I'm going, what is going on?
I'll see the big ones. Obviously, Sam Darnold to Seattle. That's huge.
I did see that.
Gino's obviously traded to the Raiders. What else we got going on? I saw Daniel Jones, the Colts today, which is random, I think. Any other?
I saw DeAndre Hopkins, bit past
Ravens?
it to the Ravens. I've seen Devontae Adams to the Rams. Mm-hmm. What else have I seen?
The only crazy thing is I was looking at Adam Schefter's Instagram and it's like 10 million, 30 million, 50 million. It's just the money, man. It's unbelievable.
But like having now gone there and seen like the experience, you can see why they earn the money.
Yeah.
Because they know how to market everything.
The NFL is king.
The NFL's king. They are so good at marketing. Even the NBA.
Yeah.
Like it's a full experience going in there. Like you're not just going for the game. You're going for everything else that's going on. You have like a halftime performance. You have things going on the screen. Like you're constantly entertained.
Yeah.
People are going to throw money at things like that.
Yeah. It's a $1 billion industry. More so. Yeah. So that's juicing up as well. NRL round 1. Any thoughts around that on the weekend?
Wasn't too bad. I watched a couple of games. Focused a bit more on the rugby union. I don't know. I haven't enjoyed league as much this year.
That's
so
good.
far.
Because Super's so good or what?
Yeah, it could be a bit of that, but I also think the games have been kind of one-sided a lot.
Yeah.
Like you saw the Bulldogs dominate the Dragons. We've seen the Storm game, which was a joke against the Eels.
Yeah, Broncos or the Roosters.
Broncos over the Roosters. And it's like the 6 again rule's great for speeding up the game, but I think sometimes like not having that wrestle in there makes one team like way too dominant.
I think it's concerning. It's round 1. You've had all off-season. This is probably the best you're going to look, and you get a 50 burger put on you in round 1. It's like, man.
Like, who was the other one? Like, Raiders obviously whacked the Wars. We saw...
Panthers and Sharks were close.
Panthers and Sharks were close.
Tigers, Knights close. Roosters, Rabbitohs, Dolphins close. But, yeah.
Rabbitohs, Dolphins obviously missing a lot of players too. But even, is it Knights, Cowboys? Like, that was quite a boring
Knights,
game.
Tigers.
Was it Knights, Tigers?
Yeah.
It was like 12-8.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like, I was watching it going, oh, this is dreadful.
Yeah, not good. All right, and then my final thing I want to touch on, Tyler, this weekend, the Australian Club Championships at Brothers, which is the winner of the Queensland Rugby Comp versus the winner of New South Wales Comp, the Shoot Shield in both the men's and the women's. Bond University versus Sydney Uni in the women's, and then Brothers versus East in the men's. Give me some thoughts and give me your picks on these ones.
Obviously, I have to pick Bond.
Of course.
Tough ask for them, I think. A lot of those girls have obviously gone up and
Well, a lot of
the Reds.
they're actually, I look at the team today, they're actually looking good. A lot of those Red girls haven't been picked. Bond girl haven't been picked this week for the Reds.
Oh, shout out Andrew Fraser and...
Yeah, so a couple of the big dogs are back, which can help.
Well, that's pretty good. Then obviously a few of them come back in. Obviously backing them. I don't know anything about Sydney Uni. I ain't even going to say.
Yeah, they got some W players in there.
I saw one highlight that I think you posted on the Bond story.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to back the Bond girls there.
Yep.
Brothers is an interesting one.
I have no idea what their team's going to be, to be honest.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I saw today, was it Satua or something? One of the ex-NRL
player?
players?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's running around for Brothers.
Right.
I think Jude Gibbs will
get
released to play, so it'll be interesting to see him in the Brothers jersey for the first time.
True. I'm not even sure. It's like Paddy James and stuff going around
Paddy
again.
James, done, retired. According to what I read today.
Yeah, right.
So,
bit of a new look.
Playing? Sydney Uni.
East.
I'm going to back East.
You reckon
Only because Molly's playing for East.
Oh, is he? Oh, good.
I saw Brad Cuppers put the boots up too.
Really?
I think Brothers have lost a lot. It's hard to tell because this point of the season, I don't know who the heck's playing for anyone at the moment. There's been a massive turnover and change of players between clubs this year, so it's pretty hard to see who's strong and who's not.
Yeah. Anyways, that should be good. So there's plenty of footy on stands. You got those 2 games, and you got obviously, I think there's 3 Super Rugby games on the Saturday, a bit of Super Dub if that floats your boat. So there's all plenty of rugby going on, mate. It's good.
We're down in Coffs.
True. You'll be playing. Oh, yeah. Get the speaking of Shoot Shield, the Wildfires. You're playing, aren't you?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting head out.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Big test for a first pre-season. Obviously, it would have been nice to have last week and sort of grow into the game, but we're going up against a pretty quality Hunter Wildfires side who look like they've recruited well again. Obviously, DC is now the director of rugby down there.
True. Coleman.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
So he's obviously going to have his fingertips in the sort of how that team looks. So it's going to be a tough one. Obviously, we've had a bit of a disruptive couple of weeks, but no excuses, and it'll be good to see where we're actually at, what we need to work on, and then build into Sunnybank, and then eventually into round 1 against West.
New faces get a crack as well. Now, final touch on, we're going to go our man Reen Stowers, of course, made his debut for the San Diego. Yeah, he just brushed us and he's gone.
That fella.
Yeah, little guy. So good to see Reen get his debut off the bench. Some good touches, and I reckon he's...
Yeah, great first touch. Knocked the ball on, he told me.
I didn't clip that
I
one.
didn't know. I haven't actually been able to watch
I didn't see
him,
that
but
one, actually, when I was watching
apparently his first touch is out of position, and that's expected, obviously.
Yeah, right.
What do you have, 5 days to prepare before running into his first sort of game of professional footy? But it's awesome to see him out there. I don't think there's been anyone that's been sort of more deserving that I've been around. Someone who's worked hard, practices trade, probably been told a few too many times he's too small. To see him finally get a crack at a professional level and had a good carry, had a couple of good touches is awesome to see. So it'd be good to see him eventually progress into that starting side.
I reckon he'll go real good. Get the starting crack for sure.
Yeah, and can show everyone what he's sort of good at. Like, we know about the footwork, but obviously the rugby IQ and the work rate and the things you don't see.
That left boot too, pretty handy.
The left boot, yeah, the things you kind of don't see unless you're around him a lot. So looking forward to seeing how he goes and wishing him the best. Kind of wishing him the best.
So we were going to get Reen on in a few weeks too, so give him some time to sort of, warm himself into the San Diego lifestyle, and we'll get him on and have a chat and see how he's all travelling. So there we go. Big episode of rugby and so much to come your way. Thank you, Tyler Campbell. My name is Jordan Hughes, and we'll see you next week for plenty more.